Well, I've never managed chronology, and doesn't look as well. I'm not going to now, am I? Having gone, as it were, forward in time to 1980 to 85 to one of my uploaded videos. There's a beautiful sunset. Of course, in my mind, I've been going backwards and still following my mother's footsteps retrospectively, obviously. And I thought, okay, so if the time they spent in Ceylon was between January and July 1946, and I can't see another time they could have done it, I've still got a little problem there. My mother boarded the MS Seaberjack. I know that she was on it. It was a troop ship, so my father could have boarded it as well, but I have nothing to say that he did. And of course my brother played a little trick on me, which only dawned on me really recently. He gave me some of my father's army records, not all of them. Which means there was worse. He didn't want me to know. So I don't know how my father got home from Singapore to England. I know that he was AWOL from my accounts between January and July 1946. Now, if he joined, first of all, I have to assume that my mother got off the ship in Colombo. I have to assume it docked in Colombo and she got off there. That's my first assumption, for her to have been in Ceylon, as it was then, at all. Now, if my father was on that ship with her, he could have got off at the same time. And that raises yet another question. Did he follow her when she disembarked? Was she trying to escape him when she disembarked? And did he follow her? Or did they agree to get off there together? Or, if he wasn't on that ship at all, and still managed to track her down after she disembarked in Colombo, all the way through, someone must have been telling him what her movements were. He followed her from India to Singapore, to Malaya, to Singapore, back and forth between Malaya and Singapore. Somehow he was in possession of the two samurai swords I believe I've mentioned, and which she subsequently sold in my late-ish teens. If he was following her from one place to another, somebody had to have been tipping him the wink as to where she was. And certainly if their time in Ceylon was not agreed between them, and he either disembarked from the same ship at the same time, or was told where she'd gone, well, who was helping him to track us? Because one thing I'm not ever going to believe is the Codswallop, didn't believe it as a kid, don't believe it now, that all of their postings were coincidental. And as far as Ceylon is concerned, it wouldn't have been a posting. He was demobbed by then, and my mother had been recalled by the Red Cross. Very beautiful sunset. And I did have some more thoughts a day or two back about this whole tracking business. And it's just a few minutes ago occurred to me that where my presence became essential was, in fact, when they got back to England, there had to be another child. And the reason there had to be another child is that children talk. You have a built-in sneak, a built-in. What did criminals call it? Snitch. Absolutely built in, because children talk without thinking of the consequences of what they're saying, generally speaking. I learned pretty early not to. But if I had not been there in the old farmhouse, if I had not been there at Forest Hills Drive, well, the neighbours, certainly the neighbours at number 19, the Wales. My dad was good buddies with Johnny Whale in the CID. They would probably have informed him of my mother's movements. Sorry, I don't have a high opinion of them at all. Just the opposite. But if you have a child there, you have somebody who is going to tell you where the little woman has been and what she's been doing. Essential. Built-in spy.